Alright, so let me just go over here. So I tightened all the bolts down on this. One on each side, here and here, and then one bolt at the top here with this rod, this tie rod that comes down, and another bolt down here. So just 3 bolts for that part, and that attaches the mud flap, grass blocker, whatever. And now we're gonna next moves on to the counterweight. So there's 4 counterweights I shared with you here. Those mount on the front. First thing you got to do is lower. Here's the instructions for this. You got to lower the mower deck. So I've lowered the mower deck. That's with this handle right here. There's a lock pin that adjusts the height. I've been mowing it with the highest setting, and it's been working out good for me because I like my grass a little deeper. But you got to take these 2 bolts off. There's a carriage bolt here and a carriage bolt here. You got to remove those 2, and then these brackets, along with this plate, which I don't know why it's got such a crazy shape to it, but we'll figure that. We'll see what that's all about once we put it together. But these 2 carriage bolts, one on this bracket, I believe, and this one, go through this plate and into those holes. So if something changes from now to when I install it, I'll instruct you. Okay, here's the bracket, and remember I talked about the weird shape? Well, you can see, and in the video I had it actually orientated upside down relative to the camera, so this little notch here is at the top, and that's so you could see the deer, and then this notch is so you can see the E. So the industrial design guys worked with the marketing guys and said, hey, you're covering our logo. So they figured a way around that. And the other thing is, you only remove this left bolt. After I put it up here, I could see that it didn't align with this hole, which is the other bolt. So I had to put that back on. Hopefully that'll save you a little bit of time. It's a little difficult to get at the back of that with a... Okay, so for the marketing folks, with the weights on, your logos still get covered up. So all that extra machining or stamping, tool and die operation, might have cost a little extra on the part, and covered up the logo anyway. I guess with the weights off you see it, but the weights on, which is probably the way it's gonna be forever, they're covered up. Oh well, good try. Okay, so this little wishbone design here, that piece of channel just slides down into that little pocket on the back bumper bracket, and then there's a through hole that right in here. That through hole, there's a pin that goes through there. It kind of locks it all together. So we'll put that pin in, it just slides into that pocket, and let gravity be your friend. And then here it is with it open. There's a little latch at the top, so you fold it down like that, hits it down, it latches, and then you just pull up on the latch here, pull up on this latch, and that takes it off. There's a little cable that keeps it from falling over on your head, and then we'll just move to the next step. Put the pin in, put the bags on it, and go to the next. Okay, so here is this knob. There's a pin, the cotter pin that goes through here all the way through. Little hitch pin, I guess you call it. And this knob, although in the instructions they show you the knob, but they don't tell you that you need a carriage bolt on the back side of that, and they don't say to add it before you set it in the hole in the pocket, but there was enough room to get down in here to get this carriage bolt through. There's a square hole here to sit with the carriage bolt, so it kind of was a little intuitive, I guess, to figure it out. But you got a bag of bolts, and you got to figure out which one it is. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't use one. I need it somewhere else. There's a lot of parts in here, which always worries me. But I got a lot to put together, a lot of brackets still. So, so the bagger's on, and then here are the bags. I guess they just sit on here, like that, one way or another. So there they are. There's one sitting there. The other one on. Not sure how they go. Maybe they go that way. No. Let's see. Go that way. I don't know if they got round in, but we'll get a final shot of that. That's essentially it, and the latch is shut. All right, next pace. All right, so the next thing we're doing is we're going to install this chute, which is this guy right here. You can see this little, I don't know, directional piece feeds into the bagger through this hole. There's 4 bolts holding it together. Sorry about the bobbling here. And then shoots into the bag. So just sits in there like that. It's not orientated right. It's got to go up a little bit, but kind of shoots in there like that. The holes are lining up. Not quite there, like that. So I guess the grass just finds its way into the bins. I'm sure they did a lot of testing on it to get it to the shape and everything. But 4 bolts. That should install that piece. And figured out the bags, the curves go up on the inside towards the front and then flat across the back. Here's the chute installed. There's 4 bolts that hold it in. One thing to note is there's 3 that are kind of shorter and 1 bolt that was longer, and the longer bolt goes in the bottom here through the box channel or square tubing, and they're a little difficult because you got to hold it on one side, and that one sits in a hole. I got a hole in there, so it's tough to get a wrench. I got pliers on it, but here's the chute coming in. Blows grass in. I don't know how it gets into this basket, but I guess once this gets full, it all falls into that side. I'm sure they've done a lot of testing on it, but we'll see how it works. So next up, we've got the Power Flow High Performance Operator's Manual, and then we've got the chute kit. And this is what we got remaining. So this is the high flow. There's a belt and a double pulley. So you got to take the pulley off the chute side of the mower, and then this belt will go around one of the loops, and the mower blade belt will go around the other one. So that to me is probably going to be the most challenging part of this whole installation, is installing that and then mounting all this. There's a couple brackets. There's more brackets down here. Got to figure out where those go. And then here's the Power Flow chute. And it's got on here some kind of a vacuum. Tells you when it's full. So I'm not sure how accurate it's going to be, but you know, is it plugged when that thing goes off? But it's kind of a neat little feature that'll tell you when it's filled up. And the other thing is that in the instructions you got to modify this. You got to cut out a notch in it, the discharge chute. You got to cut a notch out of it, and they tell you how to do that, where to cut. I think there's some lines on it. Hopefully it's not too dirty, but somewhere under here there's a cut that you got to make this thing fit. So that's probably that, and replacing this shiv. You have to loosen the belt up. Not sure where that tension is, but replace this shiv here with a double shiv. Again, one operates the belt, which I'm assuming is the lower one, and the upper one, upper shiv, will be the drive for the power flow. So we'll get started on that, and hopefully this will kind of wrap it up. All right, next step. So I removed this shield. There's two bolts, these two, and in the instruction manual they kind of show it, which looks like it's towards the back side, these two bolts, but it's really these two bolts. So I don't know if they just used a universal picture, but I got the gist of what they wanted to do. It's basically remove that shield, and then you put the bolts back in. Hopefully they're right about that, and I don't have to take them out again, because I'm not sure what size they are, but it's got to be a metric, and I was able to use some English. But next step here is to modify the chute, and they reference this horizontal line right here, and you're gonna have to cut and make a cut, and it's not too clear, but that's what they tell you to do. So you locate D, which I just pointed out, and then you got to cut 1 inch above that, marked section F. You go up here, and there's like two extra lines. So I don't know. And there's G in there too, inward dimension. I don't know, 1 13/16. I don't know how you measure that, but maybe I'll go 1 3/4 or something. And then you cut out and remove, I guess, that whole corner. So I don't think it's critical, but it's got to be there to make way for this other bracket that goes on, which again doesn't match what the instructions show. They show all this stuff here and here, and I haven't got that. So maybe this is old, and then they came up with this guard to guard the pulleys, and I'm not sure how that mounts, but hopefully we'll figure that out.